Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Everybody, and welcome to the Kryptonite Show. Woohoo! The best day of the year, and it is the resurrection of Jesus. We are already on Easter Sunday down under, and what a day it is. The greatest person in history, the greatest event in history celebration is today, so it's going to be pretty amazing. And I'm going to be talking more about that tomorrow because that will be kind of Easter Sunday for the United States and the Northern Hemisphere. Blessings to everybody, your family and friends. The most wondrous event in human history, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. So happy Easter. Hope you enjoy it with your friends and family. All right, we got Wookie in the house there. Big shout out there. Woohoo! Wookie had to chase a white rabbit out of the house this morning. That's hilarious, dude. That is hilarious. That is pretty. I hope you got that on video with your video cameras. Wookie's got his whole house kitted out with cameras. No, I kid. But great to see you in the house there, Wookie, and that's pretty hilarious on Easter as well. All right, so we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to get into the crypto weekly roundup. We're also going to get into PulseChain, which pumped overnight, so that was really exciting. We saw some ETH come over and all sorts of stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get into it. We're going to look at the top protocols performing on PulseChain as well. I just noticed just at the beginning of the live stream that PDI got pumped as well. So if that's still holding up, often the pumps get eaten up sometimes. Sometimes they lead on to a bigger move, but we'll check that out as well. I got news around PDI, and I got news around XUSD, so that's going to be fun to talk about that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Now we got Wookie in the house there. Big shout out to Wookie. In fact, I need to make sure that I've reposted the stream here. So if you're over on X, definitely repost the stream and get people out to come and watch, because that's what we're talking about. We're covering PulseChain. It's something that everybody loves. So definitely get out to that. We're obviously covering Bitcoin as well, and many other majors. So we're going to have a cool roundup there. I'm going to post the link to the show here. So you can repost that on X. And if you're on Rumble, repost as well. Just hit the repost button over on Rumble. Big shout out to everybody over on Rumble. And on YouTube, of course, you know what to do. Share. Sharing is caring, as they say. So that is the link there on X. Of course, we've just gone. X is the latest platform we started streaming on. So we're just building up there, just an early presence. Now, yesterday, I copied a post over from somebody else, and that was a lot of fun. So I got a lot of attention doing that. So, I'm going to mix it up and mingle up as well. So we're going to have a bit of fun here as on the new show, the Kryptonite Show, your host, Superman, in the house. So get out there, folks, and check that out. All right, don't forget to get in the comments as well. And I hope the moderators are having a good, fun time today. I can see Wookie is. He says pulse pump as well. Yeah, it's really nice to see green candles, right? Real nice to see green candles on the old PulseChain. And hey, look, we're going to be talking about all the fundamentals on PulseChain. It is very, very exciting. So without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to get on to X here. Look at that. I'm watching myself. That's the vanity of influencers these days, watching themselves on X. That's hilarious. But share that around. That'd be very, 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 very cool. And of course, on this humbling day, we are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus, which is honestly the most wonderful thing we could possibly imagine. So it's going to be a lot of fun here. Let's get into it. Let's move on into the crypto markets, and we're going to move on. Actually, let's go to another format and check out the full thing, right? Let's check out the full thing here. We've got Bitcoin at the moment looking pretty green across the board. $85,103. You've got to be pretty happy with that, up 2/3%. And of course, you've got to always imagine that Bitcoin's kind of like the ocean, and all the other cryptos are like ships on the ocean, That's kind of one analogy. And of course, we've got dominance there, 62%, so it's pretty strong. And if you guys remember, we had before we had altcoin season, we had it up at 70. I just don't think we're going to get that high, but actually, it's still pretty strong, and Bitcoin's definitely been very strong leading in to this bull rally that we're kind of in. It feels like a little dip in the market, but it's really a dip on the way to glory as we've been ratcheting up that Bitcoin price. We went to 108 and come back down here. And we're at we get down about 77. Now we're back at 85. So, it's not too bad, is it? Not too bad. It's a green day, says Wookie. Wookie is on fire today. Big shout out to you, Wookie. Wookie is one of our 2 community leaders, and he is leading the way there in the chat. Now, we got Ethereum there at the moment, $1,600. man, what a opportunity to get in there. Remember, Ethereum was $4,100, so you're getting in at $1,600. That's a pretty much a gift, and it's up 1.125% at the moment. XRP up 1% as well, $2.08. We got Solana up 4%. So Solana's really been making the comeback. Really came off the meme craze in January and is just starting to return to glory here, up 4%, $139. Tron also is up 1.6% at 24 cents. So we've got quite a bit of moves in the majors. Litecoin also is up just a little bit, $76.16. And then, of course, we have two that are slightly, flat. We've got ADA. That's just about I don't know what's in there. We've got ADA. It's just a pretty much flat, and BNB flat as well, 592. I know it's down a bit red, but it's just basically flat on those ones. So that's kind of where the majors are. Let's have a look at the overall markets. So we ended the week. So we've pretty much got the week results here, right? So let's get into that. We've got Bitcoin market cap at 2.78 trillion. It is down 0.8% today. But let's have a look at the rankings. We've got Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2, XRP number 4, BNB number 5, Solana number 6, Dogecoin or Dogecoin there at number 8, and we've got Tron at number 9, and ADA there, Cardano at number 10 there. So those are the top 10 rankings. In terms of the best performer over the last 24 hours, looks like we've had Solana once again taking the prize at 4.2%, followed by Ethereum at 1.5% there, and then XRP. Oh no, it looks like Tron coming in there at 1.6%, third spot. So those are the best performers in the top 10 over the last week. They're all pretty bad except for Solana. When I say bad, they're pretty, well, let's say sideways. They're not bad, but they're sideways. XRP is down 3%. Dogecoin there is down 6.8%, and Cardano down 5%. But Solana there up 5%. Most of that today, of course, 4% there. So Solana still picking up some pace. Those are the top 10. Let's look at the top 100 and see the best performers. Well, the best one is Fartcoin. We've been talking about this one. Everyone loves toilet humor. And Fartcoin there is up almost 10% for the 24 hours. Artificial intelligence, super intelligence is up 9.8%. That's been in the top as well for quite a bit. Tensor, Tau there up 5.9%. Official Trump has been making a comeback, up 8.4% despite some unlocking. I think there was unlocking there. It was due, right? The first unlocking. And that has come out as well. So I can't remember the amount, but it was some unlocking today. And that is up 8.4%, the old Trump. They got sold down pretty hard. Look, $8.40. But that is kind of where we are on Trump there. Immutable is the next one, number 5, up 8.5%. So they're kind of our leaders last 24 hours. Now, I want to have a look at the Trump one, so we're going to have a quick look at that. But before we do, let's have a look at the best performer in the last week, since we are doing a weekly roundup. So let's have a look at the last week. Well, Tinsor there, or Tau token there, up 16.4%. So that's number 1. So these are sort of some of the ones you may want to look at as part of your portfolio. But you got to check out to see, are they going to rally in the bull market? Are they going to be consistent? Is it just a blip in the radar? You got to look at all the details. What's going to make it, fundamentally pump, and also what's the TA for it, right? What are the holders? Are they dumper? Got a lot of VCs and dumping, or you got to ask a lot of questions about these tokens. But these are the better performers lately. Artificial intelligence there, of course, up 14%. Immutable up 9.6%. Hyperliquid up 9.6%, and Render up 7%. So these have all been performing pretty well lately. So definitely things to check out. And you can actually see sneaking in that number 6 is Solana, funnily enough. So those are the top 100 there. Now, looking at some of the top gainers, we've got Bitcoin Wizards up 66% over the whole 17,000. We got Bitcoin Wizards up 66%, Treasury up 63%, and Alia they're up 30.4%. Now, I'm not sure what they mean by top gainers, whether they're going through the whole 17,000. I think it is, but we'd have to double check that. Trending as well is Wallet Connect token. That's up 44%, but Tensor up 5.8%, and Solana they're all on the trending at the moment. So not a bad day, all in all on the old crypto market. But let's have a look at this Trump token, because we did have the unlocking. Let's have a look at the max period to see how it's performing. As you guys know, when Trump token did launch, it took a lot of the limelight of a lot of chains, and all the chains were like, selling out to go on Ethereum to go over and buy this Trump token, right? So it was pretty crazy. And we can see that it hyper rallied all the way up to what's that? Let me have got the right price here. I got market cap. It rallied all the way up to $44 and came all the way down. And it's only just found the bottom recently at $7.54. And so that's how long it took to find the bottom. So when did we launch? January the 18th, and we're now April 18th. So that's 3 months, and it's only finally reached the bottom after 3 months. OMG! Imagine trying to wait out 3 months for that. And then, of course, we recovered back up here to $8.42. And we also had some unlocking. It seems to have, despite the unlocking, it's still gone up, right? So that's been pretty good. Now we've got a couple of people commenting here. We've got actually Brennan in the house, I think, too. Just popping in to say Happy Easter, folks. Happy Easter to you, Brennan. Big shout out. And what else we got there? We got just a bit of hidey highs going on there in the chat. So big welcome to both of you guys. All right, so that is kind of where we are there. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin at the moment, we've got our circle of volatility. You guys know it in orange, and it's pretty much played out after we had this big, nice parabolic and came down, right? We are trying to avoid a death cross, and we're very close. So we've got the 200-day moving average in orange. We've got the 50-day moving average in yellow, and we are currently got the difference between those two. The 200-day moving average is at 85,000, and the 50-day is at 85,313. So it's about just over $300 difference between these two at the moment. That's the gap, and we're currently in a golden cross. But if the yellow line crosses below the orange line, or the 50-day below the 200-day, we're moving into a death cross. So far, we have managed to avoid that. Be nice to see some little green push-offs from here. Would be very exciting to see that, right? So get some green push-offs there would be pretty nice. So that's kind of where we are. We obviously came through the initial tariffs, and we obviously had and I wouldn't say really a reversal, but just a 90-day extension, which allowed all the negotiations to happen. I think pretty much everything is playing out pretty well for Trump, and we've got 90 days of negotiations. We know 15 countries in particular are probably going to be announced first, and that's looking very positive, including Japan and other countries. So that's all looking pretty good at the moment. We know that China's gone out to try and get countries in line, but they're struggling to do that. America really has got all the ducks in a row there, with probably well over 90 countries now looking at negotiations, and that's a good news. So what that means is that over this whole period, we're going to have lots of good news flow potentially coming out of these countries as the new World Trading Order is reorganized. And this is long overdue. There's always pros and cons to a thing like this, but it's long overdue. There's lots of imbalances and lots of this has a lot, not just financial implications, but geopolitical ramifications as well. And so this is actually very necessary for security and world peace moving forward, because you got China with an army that's way bigger than it needs. It's what they would call an expansionary level army, and so we need some checks and balances now before it all gets too late. And before that, you've got Iran running around, North Korea running around, China running around, and you got in the West all the progressives that are trying to make our countries authoritarian, right? Destroying our country. So it would just spiral down into an absolute abyss, and we this is our turning point. This is where the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness doesn't understand it, right? This is the moment that we're in, and so this is pretty exciting to see that. And I think it's going to be bode pretty well for the trades. Now, obviously, in this duration as well, we're also going to have the tax bills put in place, and also the regulation put in place as well. So those are the three key legs of Trump's strategy. And once that's in place by 4th of July, it's game on for the golden age of America. It really is going to be a beautiful thing. So far, everything is moving pretty well. I mean, there's always going to be little hiccups on the way, but once there's a little hiccup, they use something else to get that moving forward. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So I'm feeling pretty bullish about where we're heading, and I think 85K Bitcoin is looking very strong for the future, which I think is pretty exciting. So that's kind of some of the key stuff there. Let's see if we've got any more comments before we get into PulseChain. Let's see there. Let's have a look at Pulse. Any comments? We got more. Let's see here. We got you guys are talking about the rugby game. Nice there. So we got the mods having fun in the chat there, talking about sports. If you want to get in the chat there and talk about crypto, get in there. My mods love sports. They're addicted to sports. I'm addicted to crypto, but we each have our own thing. We got Tortoise Johnny says we're so close to Monday. Says Tortoise Johnny. Indeed. Brendan says, why get 7 points in the game? You guys are just sports lovers. You're sports lovers. You guys need your own little podcast, honestly. Podcast. Let's bring it on. You guys, I know you guys would absolutely rock it. So, get in the chat there and wish them well on their sports podcast for Brendan and Wookie there. All right, so let's get into PulseChain because that's going to be pretty awesome. But before we do that, actually, you've got a few other roundups in the week in review. We had quite a few things. We had the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission basically Hong Kong wants to be the crypto hub of South of Asia, especially after Trump's gone on the move with the Bitcoin reserve and the stablecoin altcoin stockpile. And so they've allowed a license of virtual assets. So that's coming up. We had Mantra's OM crash. Remember, 90%, 6 billion down to 600 million. So it's been pretty calamitous this week. So we had lots of crazy stuff. On a positive, we had Ripple acquired Hidden Road for $1.25 billion. And they're focusing on stable coins. Who's doing stable coins? Well, the Trump administration. You can kind of see the lead here. That's the encouragement that's going with crypto from Trump. We had MasterCard and Kraken partner up to enable EUs to use to spend their Bitcoin. So that's pretty huge. 150 million merchants globally. That's MasterCard and Kraken. That's crazy. I really like the Kraken exchange. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of MasterCard and credit cards because it enslaves so many people. But it's still a positive thing, I guess, with their cryptos being involved there, and mass adoption. And of course, maybe Bitcoin does become, maybe we have a US backed coin, US backed dollar based not on the gold standard like the Bretton Woods in the 1940s, but actually on Bitcoin gold, right? So that could be pretty something that may occur in the future. We'll see. Keep a look out for that. BlackRock, of course, taps Anchorage Digital for ETFs custody for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it was a big move. ARK Investments also bought $35 million in Coinbase shares. So that's a really move of confidence there. Hopefully they're going to make Coinbase a lot better too, particularly more sensitive to crypto and real crypto. So it's going to be cool. And also OKX there launched a tokenized collateral program as well. So that was a pretty bullish move with OKX exchange. So lots of cool stuff happening with the exchanges and partnerships, as well as institutions getting in the game. And also we've got sovereign states moving into crypto more as well. So a pretty good week if you ask me that we've just been through. So that was kind of cool. All right, so let's get into PulseChain and talk about that, because we had Richard Hart himself, the man, the myth, and the legend, there posting out about crypto. And of course, we are coming up to a very important time, right? Technically, I'm not sure exactly what the date is, whether it was on Thursday or Friday, but we also got expecting the extension to run out on the 21st. So that may bring it up to Tuesday, right? So that might bring it up to Tuesday before we hear something like that about that. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. I did check out the legal notices and I couldn't see anything on there. So, maybe we'll get something on Tuesday, possibly, maybe Monday, maybe. So 21st of April, we're expecting that extension for the SEC. But in any case, Richard, seems to be moving some ETH around, or somebody's moving that ETH around. You can decide who it is. We had Railgun being used, and it was a lot of fun. Couple of clips of 100 ETH. We did get some failed transactions, apparently, according to Dipcatcher. But man, opportunities are there for people taking the lead. Now, what we know Richard's done here? He's posted out about how well PulseChain's been doing over the last 24 hours. Now, this was posted sometime. This was posted yesterday. This was 5 o'clock. So what's that? About 20 hours ago. This was posted by Richard. But the green candles are still going, right? Green candles still going. And here we are, day 708 on PulseChain, and we've still got these really double-digit growths. And of course, we haven't seen these for a while, so it's pretty cool to see really bullish charts in the house, isn't it? So day 708 on PulseChain. Remember, PulseChain was a full system state fork on the 10th of May 2023, and on the 13th of May 2023, the chain launched, and we're 708 days later. Pretty crazy stuff. PulseChain at the moment, quadruple 0334, up 20%. I'll take that. And we're at 1/3 of the sacrifice price. And I've been saying this is super cheap lately. And we've got PulseX at the moment is at quadruple 0281, up 28.6%. We're at now 28% of the mean sacrifice price. Changes pretty quick, right? One moment we're down at 20% of the mean sacrifice price. The next minute we're at 28. It doesn't take long to get there. So that's what I'm saying. It really can take off really fast. Just like we went down fast, can take off fast, right? Total buy and burn at the moment, 1.38 trillion. Isn't that amazing? And guess what, guys? It's a big deal here. We've hit 7% on the buy and burn. 7% on the buy and burn. I'm going to have to remember to post that out on X after the live stream. 7% on the buy and burn has been hit, and that's awesome. That excludes the Origin sacrifice wallets. Pretty cool. We've got incentive token, $1.50, baby. And that was only down like $1.16, remember? That was like, was it yesterday, day before? $1.16. Now it's $1.50. How have things changed so fast, right? And of course, that is up 25%. The inflation's sitting around 55 million. And remember, the inflation rate has been cut by 20x, so it's only about 5% of what it was. And it's currently minting at about 0.03 ink per second, which is about, I think, about 2,600 a day. So it's next to nothing. So what's happened here? The inflations have been cut, right? Inflations have been cut. And when we talk about inflation being cut, as HEX has also got cut. We saw the OA sacrifice wallets, stake a ton of HEX short term and then long term over multiple years, and reduce the payout from about 7.5 HEX per T-share down to about 1.6 HEX per T-share. Now that will slowly creep back up again as shares are burned and things like that. But that is kind of where we are with the HEX payout. So massive there. So what do we had? Two big moves from Richard Hart. We had Pump Tires launch, right? That burns more pulse. That gives him a degree of control, or whoever's running Pump Tires, a degree of control. And then we also saw that it also burns a lot of PulseX as well. If people are participating in Pump Tires, it certainly is additive to the chain and potentially multiplicative with the burns. So it sort of has some multiplier effect. Multiplicative is not quite the word, maybe multiplier kind of effect. And then we've also got now we've got incentive token inflation cut dramatically, 20x, only 5% of what it was. Very, very low. We know the master shift contract has a thing about transferring once incentive token is disputed well. At least Pulse, then with the DAO might get switched over to the people. So we'll see if that happens at some stage. We've got HEX as well. With the inflation cut dramatically from 7.5 to about 1.6 HEX per T-share on both chains. That's a very bullish sign. So we've had all these things cut, and of course not with the incentives. The liquidity has been cut dramatically. I think PulseX was something over 200 million or so, and now we are down at a pretty relatively thin liquidity. And so we really could have a lot of moves with these tokens on the way up, just like we do on the way down with Black Swan and Grey Swan events. White Swan events and good market trends can reverse us pretty quickly. And before you know it, you are paying a lot more crypto than you were down at the bottom of the market to buy the same thing. And we're still in the low zone, so you still got an opportunity. But we had a big move back up today, and we could get a whole week of these kind of moves. We were going 25% at some stage, right? So just remember that it's accumulate, and so this is really bullish. And of course, Richard posting out it's really bullish. SEC case may come to a close after this 30-day extension, potentially next week, Monday, Tuesday, maybe something like that. So it could be all game on, right? All game on there as well. So very exciting to see where this is heading. And we also see Richard Hart talking about forking a potential wallet, right? We obviously got Internet Money out there doing a great job with KG. And he's done, I think, over 70,000 downloads. They've been upgrading their data site, upgrading the wallets constantly. I mean, they really are delivering. And it's a pretty good wallet. In fact, a very good wallet. And then we've got, Richard Hart talking about forking a wallet. We've used to, back in the day, we used to talk about all the roadmap stuff that Richard could do, including the ultimate goal of a country called Hexaco. But, this is really bullish. So you got to feel pretty excited about where we're heading. Now, we have had some issues. We've got issues. We do still have issues. We have the bridge, closing down at 5 million beats or so. We have had a number of those incidents over the last couple of days. We still have issues with, I think, the quality of validators. And so that with the chain, so we still have issues there. I know that people are trying to, work on that and provide more quality validators. And we still have an issue there. 49,293 validators at the moment. And that's been increasing, which is a good thing. Hopefully we've got even better quality ones coming in. We know that Katie from XUSD was talking about their team participating in more validators to help, shore up the validators as well. So we know we do have issues, and we're still quite a relatively young chain, 7 or 9 days. We know we haven't had the EIP upgrades, so that's an issue, and we're not sure what's happening there with Bretep and the team. So why they're not following their path, so it's another issue that can be raised. So we've got a few things there. Obviously, we need more functionality, more limit orders. We know that Proteus is looking at limit orders right now. So if you're using that DEX aggregator, that's going to be really cool. They're using that. So there is, lots of things happening in the space as well. Now, in terms of the gas prices, obviously we have lots of volatility. Like even right now, 23.4 million beats right now. Volatility is pretty crazy. You just never know. You've also, got to understand the time of the day as well. But we're at 23.4 million beats. Obviously, anything under 5 million beats is kind of reasonable in terms of what we're used to. But we do know, and Richard Hart said this as well, as the chain gets more valuable, and it doesn't mean in a straight line, it means because you're going to have more transactions and people paying different prices at different times. And of course, that includes bots and other activities going on. And so you're going to get a lot of volatility. But over time, a more valuable chain should be represented in the gas prices. And so at the moment we've got 30 cents for a PulseChain swap, whereas we're typically used for maybe 2-3 cents or under. Is kind of where we were, and we used to be down at 200 beats, right? So we're or sub 1 penny. So that's kind of where we are now, 30 cents at the moment on the blip on the live stream. And how many times on the live stream have we had a spike? Quite a lot, right? Quite a lot of times. Now getting to the bridge is kind of the heartbeat of the PulseChain, and we're up nice. We're up nice. So I think we were 80.3 million yesterday. Looks like we're up $2 million at the moment. $2 million. So we're almost 82.4 million on the bridge. So that's very, very good news. Obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum playing the role. But also all EHEX is up quite a bit. And we're going to talk about EHEX because why? Dipcatcher is doing something big for EHEX. And I've always said EHEX is undervalued. It is the Genesis hex, right? If you were back at the AA lobby, what's it, the 2nd December 2019, you were bidding on that 1 billion hex for the first time. And there was something like over 20,000. I think it was almost 21,000 bidders in there. It was a pretty exciting time. And so HEX has a lot of connection to a lot of OGs, a lot of people, of course, on EHEX, and of course Ethereum itself has its own tokenomics, and we've obviously seen a lot of mirroring between EHEX and PX, particularly with the OA sacrifice wallets and stuff like that. So I'm very bullish about where HEX can go. So it's pretty exciting. I think there can only be about I heard some stats out there about maybe like 200 people that could hold 1 million HEX or something like that. I saw something. I don't know how true that was. I think they were talking about the LP pool. But it's pretty interesting stuff there. Now, I just want to do a big shout out to Crispy Man out there. He's pretty much the guy that's doing the deep dive in HEX. He is a HEX analyst pretty much. He does all the charts and all the deep dives. So a big shout out to him. He's out there on a regular basis streaming about that. So if you haven't checked out Crispy Man, you want to get into the deep dive of HEX tokenomics, where it's all going, definitely follow Crispy Man as well. And sometimes he's on shows with Maddie Allen and a few other influencers, so definitely check him out. I think he's on with Access Alive and other people, so you can check him out in there. So big shout out to him. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. And Coast, of course, we've been slowly seeing Coast go up, $9.6 million. It's been creeping up at like $200,000 lots. And when the chain is actually down, we actually see Coast has actually been stepping up in place. And because you can actually connect to the chain and get your fiat into crypto directly. So Coast team is doing an amazing job there. So big shout out to the Coast team as well. And of course, I think they were like the only DeFi we had that actually had like full on customer service. You could actually hit a person on the website and say, "Hey, I've got a problem," and they would actually answer you, which is pretty. I don't know if that's not very common in crypto. So that's pretty cool to see that from especially DeFi, right? It's pretty cool to see that. So big shout out there. Now, as you guys know, we've got a number of stable coins on PulseChain, and the reason why I'm focusing on this because stable coins create an incredible amount of value, right? They may be only in a bull market, they may be like 5% of the value, but they get turned over in the volume, right? So there might be only 5-6% of the value at any point in time, but they get turned over in the value in the volume big time, multiplied, right? So they're a very big player. At the moment, we have 4 liquidity forks. We got USDL backed by Pulse from Liquid Loans. We got PXDC backed by PulseX, and we got HEXDC backed by HEX. Both of those two from PowerCity. And then we have Ink Printer, of course, backed by Ink, and that is from Abdul. Fast Abdul. So we got those 4 stable coins, and of course we have our Coast, our fiat one. Now we are waiting for PUSD ALGO from Jacob, probably arguably the world's best peer-to-peer developer, and he's currently obviously full on into Mafia GameFi at the moment, but also he's got a specialized team that has been working on that. Now, obviously we're also waiting for the oracles. That's like a precondition for that. We do have the Fetch Oracle out there, so they could use that theoretically, but some of the tools that they need, like random generators, are in Signum Oracle. And we know that Stu's working hard to get it out, and I think he's got to get Tetra out first, and then Signum Oracle about 2 days later. They have had some issues, not with security around the protocol, but I think it was scalability or something. I can't remember the exact term that he used, but they're definitely working on that to try and get that out soon. So we may get that very shortly. In fact, I saw something yesterday in Telegram on that, but I'm not sure if that's actually when they're actually doing that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If you have heard anything, let us know in the chat. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, we did have a fake PUSD launch yesterday. You guys know I saw it on the live stream and I commentated and I said, don't get into it. We haven't done any due diligence. It looks like it could be a scam. It also had a video that was obviously clearly that it was a scam and using the PUSD branding there. Now, anybody can launch a token. You could have 10 PUSDs on the chain. No one's really done it as such. But we're waiting for the algorithmic stablecoin, right? So we're going to have 3 different models. We're going to have the liquidity forks. We're going to have obviously we're going to have the fiat one, and then we're going to have the algorithmic one. Now, obviously, people are going to be looking to bring in forked versions of Maker potentially for PDI and other stuff. So that's also another side one. But I call that in the speculative stables as opposed to ones that actually actually peg close to $1 or close to. You're going to see some of these slightly underpegged at the moment, like PXDC and Coast, but they're essentially around $1, like USDL and HEXDC are at the moment. So that's kind of where we are there. All right, so that's kind of some of the overviews. Let's have a look at the total volume. So pretty cool volume. So we're back up at good volumes, 50.9 million. Yesterday we went back down to the 20s again. I think it was 26 or something. Today we're back up at 51 million, and the transaction's pretty similar to yesterday. I think 420,000. So some good stuff happening here. Now, we're going to get into some of the top performers, but we've got a couple of comments in the chat there. So before I do, let's get in and talk about some of those. Big welcome to everybody, of course, as well. So let me just jump over here to Rumble. Hey, everybody in Rumble, big shout out to you guys. And a big shout out over on X as well and on YouTube. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. All right, so let's jump up here. We've got a couple more comments. I just want to get into these. Let's see here. We got... let's see, coming down here. Tortoise Johnny says, people coming in hot to front run those juicy green candles that are coming, boys. That's right, TJ. You're right on that one. And Crypto MVS in the house, a big shout out. Good morning, good morning. Crypto MVS doing a great job with promotions out there. Big shout out to him. And if you guys don't know, we're trying to fill a void inside PulseChain with particularly small to medium teams and promoting them. And of course, matching those up with people so people get to see a lot of these projects. And so we've started a little promotion group and reaching out and helping a lot of project teams. And I think we're really trying to get, make it a win-win across the board. So I think that's going pretty well. And Crypto MVS is there running as sort of a promotional lead for that. So big shout out to him, doing a great job out there. And we're getting really good feedback from a lot of the teams and a lot of people participating in those projects. So it's only the beginning, and things are really growing. So if you want to definitely, talk to us about promotions, then hit up Crypto MVS, who's sort of running that. Big shout out there. Poofy Token and House there. Good morning, friends. Big shout out to you. And Hexavator, hey gang, good to see you as well. Big shout out. Now Hexavator, man, I love some of the photos you had yesterday. So cool. From showing some of where you live in there. What else there? Wookie says, as long as the numbers don't go past 21, Wookie will be in trouble at that point. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Wookie. Let me know. Valiance and House there. Greetings. I just heard from Somi that PMaker is back on live. The mystery concerns. Well, it's funny that because Katie early in the morning, I think, was talking about PMaker being dead. I don't see PMaker being live as such since they did the ESM. So we'll have to get back on that one. Hex of Hound and House there. What's up, Superman? Long time. Hey, Hex Hound. Big shout out. Good to see you in the house as well. What else there? I have to jump past Wookie's one because I have no idea what he's talking about. Jumping around from sports to Netflix to everything else. We got Poopy says Crispy is the man. He definitely is. Does a great job covering HEX. So if you definitely want to get the deep dive on how HEX works and what the forward profile for HEX looks like, definitely check out Crispy Man. PulseChain in the house there. Let's go. We bring Nakamoto to your show. So rock it. Woo! That sounds fantastic, PulseChain. Big shout out to Nakamoto crew and the community out there. Tom Bus in the house there. Do you think you will be able to get Wendy's on stream? Wendy's 10, the Sparta co-founder. Well, we already reached out to them, and they were talking about not doing anything. So we'll just see how that goes. We keep an open mind, of course. We got Hex Hound in the house there. Sparta going to be a monster, I think, says Hex Hound. We got 29 Kings in the house there. Cry to the moon. Big shout out to the Cry community as well. Great to see so many, developers and communities in the chat there. Big shout out to you guys. And we got Free ES there. Hi, guys. Good to see Free ES. Smash the likes, everyone. Kryptonite has the best show on PulseChain. I appreciate that. Big shout out there. We got lots of great people out there, and it's good to be amongst the mix. It's for sure. All right, let's get into it. We're going to get back into the results here. So let's check out what the best performers are at the moment on PulseChain. We've got Kratos there, got the top that's been around for 14 hours. So you guys know, just because I'm talking about tokens that have just been launched, we're just going through the top ones that are performing well. It's no endorsement of these protocols, right? Because we get new ones popping up every day. But we're going to have a quick look at them and see how they're going. Yesterday we had a scam come up, PUSD, of course, and so you just got to be careful there. So just make sure don't jump just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean that I'm endorsing it in any way. All right, so we got this one here, Kratos. Of course, Kratos there. If you haven't seen the actual Dutch giant, have you seen him on video? He's an amazing guy, and he's in a lot of movies these days. But he's pretty fun guy. He's definitely got to check him out. Right, walks around. He's a giant of a man, right? Giant. I think he's 7'2", I think it is, and just a beast, a world's biggest bodybuilder or something like that. It's pretty amazing. Dutch giant there with the old Dutch genes. Well, we've got this new token launch here. It's probably just some sort of retail meme play. I'm not sure what the background of it, what the token supply. Can't see that, so you have to check that out. But it's just launched 12 hours ago. We'll have a quick look at it. That's probably as much as we're going to do. Got a big pump at the beginning. We see this time and time again, right? Pumped all the way up to 0.3 of a penny, and now it's back down at below 1/10 of a penny there, or below 1 cent. So, or 1/10 of a penny, I should say. It's got a Telegram group, so you can go join that. And that is Kratos there. So, cool brand. But just maybe just another pump there. I'm not sure if it's a pump tires. Could be a pump tires. I didn't check. Now we got Frank there. That launched 23 hours ago. So Frank there is also just another token that launched, but it seems to be performing okay. Ticking away there as well. I'm not sure the safety of it. The Quicken tells there's nothing there, but you don't know if it's renounced or anything. But that is ticking away on that one. And what else there? We got PMX that's been around for 20 days. That's doing okay. Let's have a quick look at that. It's got a website, so let's see if it's got a little description. PMX is the PulseChain powered meme coin 500 index, built to track the wildest, most viable coins. So that's a cool idea. I've been thinking a lot about indexes myself. It's probably an area of PulseChain that is underdeveloped. So having indexes. So if you're a developer out there, maybe a food for thought around protocols is having indexes. There's not really much in the way of that, as I'm aware, on PulseChain. So 500 memes, one algorithm aggregates the top 500 memes on PulseChain. Now we know that memes is a huge category on PulseChain, right? As any crypto. So maybe a good idea. So that is it. And let's have a quickly check the website. Liquidity 76k million market and 25k volume. It's a modest volume, but it's certainly dominating the price at the moment. See if we've got the PMX500.com, PulseChain Meme 500 index there. I'm not sure how this is set up, so they haven't really deep dived into it, but it's got a lot of different stuff in here. So anyway, you can decide whether that's legit or not. I have not had a look, so no due diligence there, but it's a good idea. Indexes are definitely a wide open category on PulseChain. Now we also have one of the printer tokens, right? I know you know. I think it is. I know you know, and that is up as well. So it's one of the printer tokens from OG WebChef. It is up 116%. Real power move back there. This one's only 2 hours old, so maybe this is a pump tires version. But there's also the 1 5 hours. So probably actually just a new LP against PulseX. So that's probably the case. And we've got Pulse as well, so 10.48%. They have a lot of web LP webbing and stuff like that, don't they? And imbalance techniques that they use to create value. PYX is at the moment up 77% as well. Solve there, another Sovant there, another printer token from OG WebChef. That's up 42%. So we've got a couple of the printer tokens moving back into the mix there with IYKY UK. IU was it? If you know. It's on. We got Orion Directive there, up, been around for 6 months, up 37%. Sparta, of course, we've got people talking about Sparta in the chat. And that is up there from Wendy Fatendes is the founder for that, old HEX OG, old HEX OGian, I think they call him, up 31%. We've got Gas Money at the moment up 30%, another one of the OG WebChef printers. So we've got three. We got If You Know, You Know, and we got Sovant, and we got Gas Money there. Gas Money plays in Pulse, right? And that is up 30% as well. Let's have a quick look at that. Actually, I clicked on the wrong token, but let's go back to Gas Money. And this plays you in Pulse. You just hold this token and Pulse drops to your wallet. Well, it's obviously had a bit of a pullback here, all the way back down. And we've come all the way back down to pretty much around 1/10 of a penny. We're now back at 1/700 of a penny. Bit of a climb back there. RSI cooled off too, and it's starting to climb back to 50 now. Let's see if it can hold that 50. We had some support there, and we also had resistance there. So we'll see how that gets on. But so far, so good. Volume, $500,000 in volume versus 1.3 million liquidity. So let's see if that can invert and we get the opposite of that. So that'd be cool. What else we got going? Pika has been around for 10 months. That's up 29%. Reserve Tay in the house there is up 29% as well. In fact, I haven't really looked at Reserve Tay very much, but that is going up pretty nicely on the chart. Ticking away there as well on a second comeback. Look at that. 1, 2, second comeback there. Performing pretty well lately. What else is going well? Obviously, PulseX in the mix. We talked about that, up 28%. PDC, the Greys. Now, I really feel like PDC, the Greys, is one of the best, the better investment vehicles on PulseChain. So, really think it's probably one of the more blue chips there at the moment. And of course, we talked about Sparta up here. Sparta, of course, is buying HEX into their vault, and they're going to use that later on. So they burn Sparta with some of the volume, but they also get a treasury of HEX, and then they're going to, as HEX goes up, they're going to be able to go and buy more Sparta and burn Sparta. It's kind of the idea for Sparta. So that's looking pretty good so far. And also we've got what did I talk about? Where'd it go? I'm not sure where it went. It disappeared what I was talking about. What was I talking about? It's gone. Anyway, it's gone. PDC the Grace. That's it. And that's doing really well. I really feel that. So it's going to be, if you're going to have, sort of a blue chip, let's inverted commas, not endorsement, of course, do your own due diligence. But I think PDC the Grace is probably one that fits into that camp, right? So you got the Richard Hart tokens, and then you got maybe some blue chips that probably fits into that sort of category above there. What else there? We got incentive token, obviously, of course, doing very well. Up 25%. Doubt token doing pretty well there. The pump tires up 25% as well. Cognito doing well there, up 24%. And SolidX there. Now we're waiting for SolidX. As I said, I did a video about a week ago or so with the top 5 protocols coming that I thought are going to be major impactful. And SolidX and X Game are one of those. And we're going to be covering that a lot on this channel. So that's coming up there. In fact, I've got some big news going to be announcing soon. So you wait for that. You're all going to want to join up. Wait, get ready to roll. Get ready to roll on that. That's coming. So that's doing pretty well, up 24%. All the SolidX is there, doing pretty well. So we've got lots of tokens at the moment, well over 10%. So doing pretty good. 9mm exchange is on the move up as well. So that's kind of cool. And that's up 20%. Time dividend there. We talked about KG's wallet, Internet Money. Now, obviously, Richard Hart forking a wallet could be a big competition to them. Now, they've obviously laid this strong foundation, over 70,000 downloads at least, as last time I remember, and doing very well. People earn money in the wallet by the time dividend, just holding that in the wallet. Multi-chain as well, and it's a very good wallet. So, and they're always adding more and more features to it. That is up 90%. So big shout out to KG. They really deserve a lot of kudos there. Now the BBC token there from 9-inch exchange. So we got 9M moving up into number 36. We also got the BBC. Now I did say to you, once PulseChain starts moving, in other words, all Pulse and PulseX and all that sort of stuff, and all the other tokens, the better leverage projects will start leveraging even better. So they'll start racing way even better. But you've got to get in the right ones, the blue chip ones I call them. And then of course the DEXs and traditional DeFi ones, the ones that have kind of been ignored to a lot of degree. Some of them, if not many of them, will start to also go up at a faster rate, right? So they're at what I'd call blue chips, but they're kind of sitting a bit idle at the moment, waiting for PulseChain to start getting that big uptrend that everyone's expecting, right? So that's kind of where we are. So BBC, they're moving a bit there as well. A big shout out to Hexy Bastard. Now, if you haven't joined up to our Telegram group, has a free alpha list of top tokens. Join up today. We had Hexy Bastard join just 2 days ago, I think it was. He's from the founder of the 9-inch exchange, which, as you guys know, is the 3rd biggest DEX here. This excludes PH or FIT, the famous ecosystem, which I keep forgetting to talk about, but I am going to talk about that. I did talk about it several weeks ago when I did a whole DeFi summary. So if you want to know what the better DeFis are, based on my opinions, and of course I've since the beginning of PulseChain, I covered all the launches. If you guys remember, I covered launch after launch, month after month after month, and these are my picks that launched on PulseChain. Definitely go see it. I think there's like 25 to 30 projects on that video. Go and check that out. It's on the Ultimate DeFi Guide or something like that. I can't remember what I called it, but that is definitely there. Check that out if you want to go through those. Now, you have to make a judgment about each of those as you go through, but that video there kind of gives a great overview for before your further deep dive. And of course, a lot of those prices are relatively kept back, so you need to be picky on those. But DEXs in particular tend to do quite well, and we're seeing a bit of movement on DEXs lately, right? So that's kind of cool. What else we got there? We got Pulse Puppy up as well, 16%. Thelta up 16%. Pump tires. So we have talked about the pump tires categories a lot. This is Richard Hart launched this. We did a whole video on these categories. I went to different categories. I went through printer tokens. I went through meme tokens. I went through pump tire tokens. I really went through lots of different categories in the last couple of weeks. And hopefully it's been a real fast guide for people that are busy. And there's a lot of people out there busy, don't get the time to really classify these things. And so hopefully it's been help. 9-inch, of course, we talked about that. That's up 15%. So we've got 9-inch and 90mm, right? So they're the two biggest DEXs behind PulseX. So we've got all the DEXs moving up. And this is kind of what we expect to see when things start to really improve there as well. Obviously, HEX up quite nicely, 13%. HEX is probably going to run away. So be very careful. HEX is like, can you catch me? Catch me if you can. A big shout out to the Ricky crew out there with the Ricky token, the original RH meme before Pump Ties. And so big shout out to them. UpX at the moment, up 13% there. This is built on top of Pulse, right? This is Haunted. You guys know Haunted. He's really quite a well-known guy, really great guy, and did the old Haunted strategy, right, for liquid loans back in the day. And he's got his own UpX token. He's got other products like ValidateX performing like a boss, right, giving you like 60% yield last time I saw, compared to a standard validator at about 12%. So, doing some good products there. There are a lot of products actually around validating now that you can get into without just holding 32 million Pulse and being a dedicated validator. There's NFTs and all sorts of stuff out there now. So yeah, staking, stake Pulse and things like that, and then they do validating. So there's lots of different options now. Jupiter up 13%, Cumanon up 11%, and we got good old DAI there up as well. That is up 11% on the old DAI there. I'm not sure which one this one is, but that is up 11%. So not sure if this is a pump tires one or not, but that is up as well. So it looks like a pump tires one, if you ask me. Let me have a look at the contract. Yeah, that looks like a pump tires one. So that is up as well. Up a little bit. But we did see pump tires getting pumped, right? So I think I pulled in that. So those are all the ones over 10%. We've got a lot of other ones doing pretty well. OG Teddy Bear up. Most Wanted is up. That's the sort of the pump tires version of Ricky to some degree. We got Trump tokens. A lot of these pump tires are sitting in the mix here, up 5 or 6%. So not bad moves there at the moment. All right, so we're going to get into some of the PDI stuff. So that was kind of the best performers at the moment. And we're going to get into some of the PDI stuff here because we got PDI there. Just got pumped before the live stream. I wanted to see whether it's going to hold up. But hey, look, we got some news around all this stuff, so we're going to get into it. Rack and Rochelle, do you want to hear about Rack and Rochelle? Does anyone want to? Let me know in the chat there if you want to hear about Rack and Rochelle. I don't know. We'll get back to it. But before we do, let's get into the chat here and catch up on the comments because, it's great to be able to talk, but, community is number one for me. And so let's get back into it. Who have we got comments in here? We got Fraser. Anyone who likes EHEX and PHEX, check out Treasury, which yields dual HEX there. Yeah, Treasury been doing like a boss, right? And that's connected up with USD Tether, isn't it? Connected to USD Tether, so that's really, really cool. Valiant in house there. Apparently, a suck function was activated on PMaker. Okay, which can't be undone. Which can't be done if PMaker is shut off. So it looks like a protocol reboot. Game on. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Valiant. Appreciate that. I'll follow up on that on the live stream. Sorry, after the live stream. Yeah, it's a moving, man, PDI is a moving beast. It's a moving beast. So we'll have a look at that. Who else there? We got Brian in house there. What's up, folks? Good to see you, Brian. Big shout out there. And Thomas says Sparta has a crazy liquidity to market ratio too, says Tom Boss. I appreciate that. Thanks, Thomas, for that. We got Pulse Beats in house there. Hey, Suitman. Good to see you, Pulse Beats. Loving the rockets there. And what is your X handle, Suitman? Well, I think I posted that at the top there. So let me go find that. That is the X handle right there, just at the very top of the chat. So x.com/Kryptonite Show. There we go. It's fairly easy. Kryptonite Show. I haven't got the word that on the front, but that is there as well. Big shout out there. All right, looks like we've got about 140 people watching at the moment, so big shout out to everybody. If you are new, definitely smash the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the follow button on X, and hit the follow button on Rumble, and most importantly, share the channel out there. You guys know I'm covering crypto generally and PulseChain specifically every day, and so it's been a wonderful time doing that. And I was back there when Richard Hart was wearing a top hat, one of his interesting followers, and he was an interesting character to come across at that time and watch him talk about his stuff with his old top hat. I was there with the Ethereum day one ETH lobby there, and that was a hell of a fun time. I cannot tell you enough. And of course, watching Richard Hart's 7-hour live stream after the launch of HEX was just a wonderful thing back in December 2019. And of course, we saw the HEX God Whale pump on HEX God Whale pump, and I think it was around about April, somewhere in there. That was awesome. 2020, and then of course we had the big payday in November 2020, and then of course we had the New Year's a big Richard Hart candle there for New Year's. That was pretty awesome. in 2020. And of course, 2021, you guys know it, 13 parabolic rises onto the rise of HEX to the all-time high, one of the best 4 coins in 2021. And of course, almost, I would say almost a 10,000x. Some people say 10,000x. So it depends on your base price and stuff like that, but and the exchange you're using. But it was pretty exciting. Now we're also the early days when HEX first launched. We had I just can't remember. I've got the exchange on the list there, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. But people were trading there for one little, like on particularly on the Ethereum pair, were trading little pips on that. It was pretty hilarious, guys. At the time, so it was pretty pathetic, really. But it's you could make 50% or double, you could 100% profit just by a change in the Bitcoin price, right? So it was pretty crazy time at that stage. So it was a lot of fun. So and now here we are. We had all the sacrifices, PulseChain, PulseX, right? We had all that in play. We had the bear market with Dipcatcher and Alex McFurter saving the day with their HEX derivative products. It was a really exciting there. So big shout out to them and Dipcatcher. I'm going to be talking about Dipcatcher next as the final topic for the show. So not only did he save us in the bear market, but he also, with HEX and those guys took in 2 billion HEX. It was pretty amazing. And of course, with Richard, of course, we had about $1.1 billion in sacrifice raises. Pretty incredible stuff. So it was exciting times. This is all exciting times. And now here we are. PulseChain then launched, the 13th of May, 2023. And here we are now, 709 days later, and we've got PulseChain. I don't know, is it about to do turn? Are we about to enter the white swan events? We've had the black swan events. We've had the grey swan events. Are we about to enjoy the big rally moving forward? It's definitely signals from Richard's team have come out, thinning liquidity, lowering inflation, putting out pump tires, doing other things, talking about fork wallets. The SEC case almost over, and it was a very weak case, so we're feeling very optimistic about that. And so maybe next week is the road to Valhalla, the road to glory. It could be pretty exciting on the old PulseChain. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We've still got quite a few of the OG influencers around. We've still got a ton of people in the community. And I think we're getting more and more people in the community that are just more constructive, let's say. And so that's a really good turn of events. More constructive people we've got in the community, the stronger foundation we can grow into this bull market, because it's going to be glorious. I think it's going to be glorious. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, that's not to say we still don't have teething problems, like I said earlier, around the bridges and around validating and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff has to be worked on. But that's business as usual, kind of. And we just got to get that to a point where it's really fluid. And we've got a lot of devs, creating a lot of value on the chain. And we've talked about Sun Mini Mill coming. We got big corporates coming. Liquid Loans was talking about certain, big onboarding partner. I haven't heard much from that, but I'm sure they're potentially still working on that after the launch of Fetch Oracle. We've got the big X game coming, of course. We've got the big algorithmic stablecoin potentially coming, obviously on the back of Signum Oracle. We've got the Signum Oracle Tetra, of course, allowing for truly decentralized trading, basically democratizing coding as well, allowing the average person to be able to interact with smart contracts, set up limit orders, and all sorts of other cool things with the Tetra technology. That's a game changer. And so we've got so much stuff coming, guys. It really is going to be awesome. And we've got more teams building more stuff. In fact, Dipcatcher, I'm about to talk about his latest for HEX on Ethereum. It's not slowing down. Now, I was going to be talking about, of course, XUSD and PDI. So let's get into that. And we've got, obviously, the PDI chart there just got pumped. The road to Valhalla. I don't even know what that means. I just say it because it sounds cool. I watched the movie. Anyway, so the road to Valhalla, whatever. And so we're up here at 000817. And here we are. We're up pumping up 2 days there. So this is the hourly chart, by the way. Sorry. So just before the live stream, we had a pump in there. So someone came in and bought heaps of it. Now, I want to say something. Rakim Michelle, of course, the biggest sacrificer for PulseChain and PulseX. Of course, he came in with a consortium, right? So it wasn't just him. It would have been a consortium of investors that are associated with him. And we know that Steve Hitson is his front man, kind of does the evaluation for projects that he goes into. Well, we also know Katie there with XUSD in that team there. And they have, made the big moves on PDI the other day. And, of course, we saw the big dump fest, right? This big dump fest here. And, of course, that caused all kinds of craziness amongst the PDI community. and of course that was pretty crazy. And of course, I'm in crypto because I want everyone to make money, right? So I'm not, I don't celebrate when we get these crazy events, but it is crazy. We're used to that in crypto, right? We're in crypto. We're used to absolutely insane events happening. I mean, just think about the OM, right? That happened with the 6 billion down to 600 million. And here we've got something else going on. This is like a good Samaritan coming out to do good things, but of course, bad things happen to make it happen, right? Because sometimes you have to do worse things. Now, we just got a pump here, so we're back at 00082. So that's pretty cool, 00082. So nice little pump there. And where are we heading from here? Where are we going to head from here? Because we had the first one here. There's the XUSD team. They obviously used that to buy a tropa, burn a tropa. I think they burn LP, PUSD, and also pump the XUSD. And of course, we've seen that now is now over 9% burn on XUSD. So that is definitely looking like they're wanting to re-rate that. They don't have to stop at $1. They could go much higher, of course, with XUSD. But that's kind of where they're trying to go with that. And of course, we know they're going to renounce the keys and hand over that contract. I think later in this year. Did I say September yesterday? I can't remember the date, but I think it was September, something like that. So that's all going to play out. In the meantime, they've got to do all these things to build that protocol, and people get incentivized to buy when the market's below, and they've got their all the stuff involved with that. Now, the key thing I wanted to say about that was that Rack and Michelle was at Steve Hitson's evaluation, as I understand it, introduced him to XUSD and KD and all that, and he has invested in that. So he's a big player involved in XUSD. So that could be simply something that you want to check out. Obviously on PDI stuff, Katie also said over the last 24 hours that they got there are not that XUSD is involved in it, although they're having communications with teams that they're expecting things to happen for PDI, right? So maybe this is what Valiant's talking about in the chat there. I think it was Valiant and Tom Boss possibly. But this is the stuff that we're expecting to see happen. So things will happen to support PDI moving forward. If they've able to resurrect the PDI, that'd be interesting theory. I'll have to check that up, of course, before I comment too much about it. But they're definitely looking at other avenues for supporting PDI from not just James Maria, the Tropa dev, but also a third party, another actor in play that Katie's aware of. So that's pretty interesting stuff there. So it doesn't look like PDI is going to get neglected. Also, Rack and Michelle said overnight that he was buying PDI as well, and said that the DAI community was loving him right now for that. So that was pretty cool. Big shout out to Rack and Michelle out there. And of course, he just come back from his honeymoon, right? So good stuff from him. And so here we are back up at 00083 just for the live stream. So interesting stuff. The PDI story not finishing. Now, some people are talking about Somi, of course. He's the big sort of cheerleader for PDI amongst the influencers. Obviously, one of our biggest influencers out there. He's got a very entertaining show. It's also crosses the line a little bit with the old blasphemy, but hopefully he gets that right eventually. But here we are with the price out doing pretty well, and hopefully we'll see where Somi lands on that. Obviously, he's talking about XUSD now as well, so it's going to be a fun show. We're going to be enjoying crypto. Crypto's full of crazy stuff, and we get used to it, right? We get used to it. So that is PDI. We're obviously going to talk about USDC as well, and USD Tether. Let me just scroll down and find these. Obviously, Tropa at the moment is up 267% this week. We're at 3 cents on a Tropa, so let's have a quick look at Tropa. This is James Maria, of course. So let's have a look at that. That is a big pump. So that's looking much better there with versus the DAI. And where we go there? I don't know what happened with that. Let's scroll back down again. And I'm trying to find these other coins. So we're on Pulse Coinlist, by the way, if you're wondering what site we're on, pulsecoinlist.com. And we've got wrap Bitcoin at the moment, back at $174. Let's have a look at some of these. We've got USDC. So this is the other one. USDC here, of course. This is the one that's USD Tether and DAI were like pegged 1-to-1. And this 1-to-1 narrative is important. I think it's important, but you have to, as Katie said, you have to adjust the supplies. You have to deal with the supply imbalances between the three tokens. Remember, I think with PDI, when the chain was forked, we started off with about 6 billion tokens, somewhere around there. And they've all got different token supplies. So that's a real issue. That's just one of the things I think you need to do is deal with the supply numbers and the parity 1-to-1. And then you have to have the other issue, of course, is how do you get the more buyers than sellers to actually push that price up over time, right? And that's not necessarily that you're going to go to $1. You need probably a protocol to help you do that, right? We'll see where that goes. So that's kind of where we are, USDC. And of course, the ratio to DAI, this is the one that's been, not really really pegged too well, whereas USD Tether with Treasury has been connected, and then Tropa with PDI, right? That was kind of the connection there. And so Tether was kind of the outlier, and we saw that actually at a premium, right, relative to USDC and HEX. Sorry, USDC and PDI. So we'll see how that evolves as well. The other one, of course, is a USD Tether, and that is currently just under 0008 as well. So they're all tending to move together there, and we can see the price up there the last 2 hours as well. So nice little move there. So everyone's going to be pretty happy about that. Rack and Michelle on deck as well, buying some PDI. So pretty good stuff all around, as we'd say. Now we're going to be talking about XUSD, right? So this is the team that's kicked all this off with the big sell-off on PDI, and you can see this is really pumping right now. And of course, the Rack and Michelle, the big whale, this is in this as well, right? So it looks like we're pumped in the last couple of hours. We had a big pump up here. We got to 1.7 cents, and then we came all the way back down here to 0082, so 8200 of a penny, so below 1 cent here. So pretty, 1.7 to below 1 cent, and so we're basically down a whole cent there on that move on the hourly. In the last 3 hours, we've been pumped all the way up to 1.4 cents here. Pretty bullish on that move. And of course, XUSD is another speculative stable. They want to, obviously, this is using a vibratile movement or volatility movement where you incentivize people to buy when it's below and sell when it's high, and you slowly move up and you ratchet that price up over time. That's kind of the idea there. And at the moment, they've got a lot of burning going on. So the burning's been dramatic. It's gone, I don't know what the starting amount, but it was around 2 or 3% or something, maybe. And then, of course, after Katie did this big sell off, minted all these tokens on PDI Maker, shut down PDI Maker with the ESM, and then ended up, pumping it all into Tropa, into XUSD, and burning XUSD. And of course, here we are. They jumped all the way up to over 9% now on the burn, which is pretty crazy. So that's going pretty well. Also, now 9% on all things isn't you want to get to 99% almost on a burn, don't you, to really make that happen. But when you've got incentives as well, then you're incentivizing people to burn as well. So that's been going pretty well. And Rackham Sean's got into that, right? So he's gone into, into that sort of stuff as well. So that's kind of where we are with those stables there at the moment, which is pretty cool. And Wrap Bitcoin recovering a little bit there as well. All right, so let's get back into it. I just realized I left that Kryptonite post on there, but that's cool. That's free advertising. Let's get down to the bottom there. That's some of the big moves. So let's have a talk about some of these comments. Let me just see where I was at the moment. We're up to an hour and 2 minutes. I want to wrap up shortly because it is Easter Sunday here in New Zealand, at least, and it's going to be Easter Sunday tomorrow. Let's see here. Let's scroll down a bit further. So we'll have a look at that Valiant. Apparently, a suck function was activated on PMaker, which can't be done if PMaker is shut off. So it looks like a protocol. I'll have a look at that. We'll firm that one up. But that's definitely a good lead there. Appreciate that. Right. Let's see what else we got going. Scroll down here. We got Utah Crypto in house there. Big shout out Utah Crypto. Hey, look, I'm going to be doing a lot more coverage of Titanx. The other thing, of course, we've got PulseChain moving, but Titanx at the moment, the value at the moment you get in on the bottom is so good, guys. All the buy and bins are turned off. OmniChain's coming from Jake Sharp, and a lot of the developers in that community are going to be doing a lot of cool things. So that's a cool zone of accumulation. You can thank me later on that one. Brian's in house there, giving away five memberships. Big shout out to Brian. Brian's one of our 2 community leaders. Big shout out to him. He has got a big heart, and we appreciate him a big time. Big shout out to Brian. He's helped onboard so many people to HEX skins and all sorts of stuff. He does just about everything. He really is a super man himself. So big shout. And a big shout. Congratulations to DG and HEX skin there. Harry Williams got one. Andrew got one. Big Bully got one. Big shout out. And we also, Gabe got one as well. Awesome there. 5 memberships coming out there for the channel on YouTube. Big shout. All right. Congratulations. Let's see here. I've got a couple more comments. So we got Hexbound says, great commentary. It's been one hell of a beer. It has, yeah. I think we are about to go on the other side finally. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of white swan events and a lot of uptrend movement happening, and a lot of the foundations have been laid. And we'll, hopefully hear from the SEC thing next week. Wookie says Dark Horse just printed a W. Nice one there. Big shout out to the Dark Horse community as well. I love their brand, right? The amazing brand on Dark Horse. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Happy Easter to you. The resurrection of Jesus. You can't do better than that. If you're not familiar, I'm going to be talking a few highlights about that tomorrow on the show. That will be, Easter Sunday in the United States. So it's going to be wonderful. All right, Valiant says, as always, many thanks for the alpha, Superman. Blessings to all, 100% the Valiant. Appreciate that too. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll catch you on the next show. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, share the channel around, and yeah, let's get excited. I'm going to have a big announcement coming up probably next week. So look forward to that, and we're going to have a fun with that. So that's coming up. The Hamish Kid, what we're looking at today. We have just covered it. So get in the Hamish Kid. Big shout out to you. And of course, I saw you on X yesterday. I think it was too. So big shout out there. I think we got how many people watching at the moment? We got 165 people watching at the moment. So big shout out. Appreciate all your guys' support. And if you love crypto, you love PulseChain, and of course I throw in politics here and there as well. Then definitely join the channel and get into our Telegram. Links in the video description. We've got a free alpha list we're giving out, and we update that performance every day. I think we've just gone over 260 people. We only just launched that thing, and it's going really nicely. We've got a big announcement potentially coming up next week, and I say potentially, it probably is coming out next week, probably at the beginning. So to come out, definitely join in for that. And what else? Yeah, get into our Discord. Links are in the video description to our Discord. We got amazing people in there. Amazing people. All right, take care. Bye out. Peace for now. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Wiki, for moderating. And I'll catch the rest of you guys on the next show tomorrow. And we're going to be covering Easter Sunday on here. So pretty cool. Yeah, happy Easter, Jedi, says Wookie from another galaxy. And a big see ya from Brian. Big shout out there. All right, take care. Peace out. Bye for now.